Jeremy here with the Geekly Grind. I am checking out the tabletop games today. I'm here at Summit Hall, and I'm at the Compile booth. Who am I joined by today?
Hi, my name is Matt Kroll. I'm a project manager for Greater Than Games under Flat River Group.
Awesome. So I was walking by, I saw you running this demo, and as a Magic the Gathering fan, as a card game fan, I was just immediately interested and invested, and I had to stop and see what is this game all about. So, what is this game all about?
Thematically or mechanically? What are you interested in?
Let's start with the thematics,
Okay.
and then get into the mechanics.
No problem. So, thematically, this is set in the retro futurism of like early '90s to mid '90s, like cyberpunk novels and movies like Johnny Mnemonic and things like that. So both players are playing rogue AI in the nanoseconds after the singularity. Every game of this that we played this weekend or will ever be played happens in a few brief seconds after AI understands sentience. And we're testing protocols. Competitively, we're just bouncing these vague ideas off of each other, trying to finish our programs. Right? We're trying to compile our protocols. And they're hard to understand things like gravity or metal or light. What do those things mean to a robot?
Right. That's utterly fascinating. I love that concept 100%. It's funny because Terminator Zero just came out on Netflix. So Skynet goes sentient, and so the idea of yes, in those very crucial literal seconds afterwards, all of these vague concepts kind of compiling and coming together. I love that. What brought that idea to life? I guess where did that inspiration come
from? Well, so this game was brought to us by a designer called Michael Yang, and it didn't actually have this theme attached to it. It was just a very different game. It was very abstract, and we played it, and it stuck with me. I didn't want to make it, actually, because we're known for, Greater Than Games is known for Spirit Island, it's the multiverse, big, heavy co-ops. We've got more of those coming out. We love making those games. This really isn't our style of game, but it was so good. I played it, and the next day I thought about it all day. And I played it a couple more times, and I kept thinking about it. And the theme needed to have a hook. And I realized that through the mechanics of the game, there's a little bit of programmed movement. And the text of the game is very cold and robotic. It is the most rules on cards kind of game that there can be. And what leans into that other than AI? And then also, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I played the Shadowrun video game on the Sega Genesis, and I was an early proponent before all the patches of Cyberpunk 2077.
Sure.
And all of that.
Yeah.
And Johnny Mnemonic's one of my favorite movies. And I went, this is the game. And so I reached out to the designer, Michael, and I said, hey, I love this game. I want to change the theme. And I did a big, long write-up, and I said, the whole spiel that I just gave you. And he said, did you know that I'm a computer programmer? And that makes a lot of sense as to why I made this game. And I went, fantastic. So you're in? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And he's been a wonder to work with. It's been great. He is just a wealth of creative energy. It's amazing.
When it comes to Greater Than Games and the games that you've done before, I caught you kind of talking about this a little bit earlier with the previous game. What about Compile as a game is appealing to your company that it has this well-established IP with Sentinels and Spirits? Like what about Compile makes it appealing to Greater Than Games as a company?
It is the lightest game I've ever seen be able to tell a story through its play. Like you feel like you're embodying the things, much like Spirit Island spirits are designed to feel like lightning or fire or the river. Like they do those things. This game does that, and there's emergent storytelling within the game itself that is very evocative. And then tactically, mechanically, it's deeply satisfying. It scratches a lot of itches that $100 games fail to scratch for me. And this kind of game would be a huge turnoff for me as a consumer. I don't play these games.
Right.
I play this game a lot. I love this. I play it for fun.
Yeah.
Even though I'm designing and developing and project managing and all those things on it, I will just pull this game out at the bar tonight in the hotel lobby and play it with whoever wants to play it because it's just fun to play. And I love the moment when you're teaching somebody a game where where they get it,
Yeah.
and that happens every time with this game. Like, some people just don't get other games; it's not for them, and that's fine. Everybody gets this game. They get halfway through a game and they go,
I get it.
and then they start doing clever things.
Yeah.
And I don't have to craft an experience for them.
Sure.
I just go, here's the game. We just play the game. Whereas, with more complicated games, there's a demo that you run, and it's a short and abbreviated. No, we just play the game. We're just going to play the game, and you're going to get it. And that level of accessibility is really important to me.
Yeah, love that. So mechanically, let's do it.
Okay, so
Let's talk about it.
mechanically, it is a 3-lane area control game that's competitive. It's got some light deck building in it. So at the beginning of the game, we're going to do a snake draft, and we're going to be drafting portions of a deck. And each protocol that we have is going to contribute 6 cards. And that 6-card portion of the deck is a little engine, right? It's a little card combination. And our design philosophy in this game, because we're dealing with such a limited component pool, is all bangers, no mash. Every card is good. Mm-hmm. Every card, you want to play every card every turn, no matter what.
Yeah.
And so that makes a way more evocative and fun play thing. It's like, oh, you discard a card. And you're like, but I want all of them.
Yeah, all killer, no filler. There's nothing you're like, oh, okay, I'll DOS this card, whatever.
And so we are going to draft these things. We're going to craft a unique deck. There's something in the 400,000 possible game setup states because we have 12 suits in the game. You're only ever playing with 6 of them at a time. And that's the core of it. And then we get to play 1 card a turn. And those cards have words on them. And then we do what those words say. And that's it.
So you read the card and you do what the card says.
And that's it. You read the card and you do what the card says. The hook on this game is that whenever text is revealed, it activates again. So there's also a little bit of programmed movement in there. You can manipulate the game into reactivating cards or to your advantage or to your opponent's disadvantage or whatever you like.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, so I pick 3 of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there like a back and forth? We flip a coin?
But I can go through roughly what each one of these wants to do, and we can go through the draft.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, so we've got Life. Life wants there to already be cards in play. It wants planted seeds because it wants to grow trees, right? Plague wants to make your opponent discard. Speed wants to play extra cards. Psychic wants to control your opponent's play area. Spirit wants to give you more freedom in your play area. Water wants to find level, so it wants to play wide, wants to play outside of its lane. Death is all about removal. Darkness wants hidden information, so face down cards. Fire wants to consume your hand for other things, so discard a card, get a kicker sort of stuff. Gravity is all about moving things around, just like gravity is. Light is about revealing hidden information, so looking at your player's hand, looking at face down cards. And then metal is all about securing its own lane. It's very isolated. But it's really easy to score that, but it doesn't really play well with others.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what do you want to take? You're going to pick one?
Okay, I'm going to go with, life. Let's go with life.
Wonderful. So you're going to take these 6 cards.
I'm a green player in Magic, so that speaks to me.
You're going to put your protocol here. So we're going to fill these spots with the 3 protocols, and then these spots with my 3 protocols. And then these 6 cards are in your deck, and we're going to shuffle them all together once we get the rest of them. So I'm going to pick 2. So it's 1, 2, 2, 1.
Gotcha.
To eliminate first player advantage, I'm going to take Spirit. So I'm going to have a little bit more freedom of play in my area. And I'm going to take Water because I like it. It's fun for me. Now you get to pick 2.
Okay. I'm going to go with Psychic.
Psychic. So you're going to try to control my play area.
And let's do Gravity.
Gravity. Yeah. All right. So you're going to manipulate physical space. Make sure that all the cards are here.
And so now we've got a deck of 18, basically.
You got a deck of 18?
Gotcha.
I'm going to let you pick my last one because I play this game a lot. What do you want to see?
Let's see. I'm Death. Let's see some Death.
Let's get some removal in there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. So I'm going to slide over here.
Yeah. I still catch it.
Okay. Perfect. Make sure that everything is in here. I believe it is. All right. So I'll run you through it like it's the regular demo, I suppose. Okay. Cool. So on the playmat here, we've got our. I'll try not to stack the table.
No way.
On the playmat here, we have our turn order. First draft plays first because the second draft position gets to draft 2, so that's actually the the advantageous space. Start of turn effects. So cards have start of turn effects on them sometimes.
Okay.
That's when they happen. For demos, we don't play with control. Please check out Penny Arcade stream for all the information you need about control or the rulebook when you buy it. Compile. The goal of the game is to score all 3 of your protocols. So the way you compile is to have 10 or more value. That's the number at the top of the cards. And more than your opponent when you reach this step. So say it was my turn, start of turn effects, I don't have any, not playing with control, compile. I have 10, you have 2. I have to do this. It is compulsory. I delete all cards on this side of the line, delete all cards on this side of the line, it would go to your trash, and then I score the point, but that consumes my action for the turn. Right. So you'll get 2 turns in a row, but I scored a point. So you get a little rubber banding there to make it a little bit more fair. You can't just steamroll people. Then action. You have 1 action to do. You can either play a card or refresh. Refresh is draw back up to 5. So unlike Magic or anything like that, there's no compulsory draw at the beginning of your turn. You are going to play cards out of your hand of 5 until you feel like you need more cards, or you have none. And so anytime you have less than 5 cards at your action step, you can choose to refresh. Otherwise, you play a card. You can play a card face down anywhere, but if you want the very good words that do cool stuff, you have to play it under the protocol that it's associated with. So for me, Spirit and Spirit, Water and Water, definitely down. And then card anatomy. We'll get into the last 2 at the very end. Card anatomy. Top left of the card and top right of the card iterate what protocol it comes from. All the backs of the cards are value 2, so you don't ever have to flip them over and look at them. And then there's value in the middle. Top text. This is passive effects, so things that are new rules for the game. Whenever you play cards, never cover that top text, even if it's empty, because that is just a courtesy to your opponent. You don't go, oh, but secretly I had the secret rule.
Yeah, sure.
Then the middle text, that's the thing that happens when you play cards. So this card, I would just draw 2 cards. But whenever that text is revealed, it goes off again. So say this were the board state, and you deleted this card, I would have to discard another card. But say you shifted this card to here, I would get to draw 2 cards because this text was revealed, or it was face down and flipped over. Flip or exposure in some way, or play is how you get middle text. And then bottom text is just like top text. It's semi-permanent because it can be covered because it's on the bottom of the card. That's it. Everything else will emerge through gameplay organically, and we'll talk about it when we get there. Okay? So shuffle up, draw a hand of 5, and play your first card. Yeah, remember, you're only dealing with 3 suits, and you're only dealing with 18 cards. Yeah. It's not out of the question you're going to draw 5 cards in the same suit. There are no duplicate cards in the game. There are some duplicate effects. There are no duplicate cards. Every card is unique, so card counting is encouraged. Your trash is face-up public knowledge. Face-up cards in play are public knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, man.
Yeah, I know that he's only got.
If he's got gravity 4, he can mess me up. Well, guess what? I know you don't because it's in your trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this game is a lot more about posturing, and you're doing a fence match here, right? We're going to score some points, and then we're going to get into the end game where we only need 1 or 2 more points. Then it's about what resources have you expended? How do I incentivize it? And now I've had a portion of the game, half a game, to learn how your deck works together. So there's not a huge advantage to people that have played a lot of it. You can get good at it, but just playing a lot doesn't necessarily give you a huge advantage, which is another thing that I like.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go with start, control, action. I'm going to play Psychic 3.
I discard a card.
You discard a card.
Okay.
I can't. It sounds like a shift, but there's not a shift.
Yeah. Shift one of their cards, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it'll be specified one of your opponent's cards, or one of your cards, or a face down card, or a card with a value of 2. It might have some special.
The card will tell you
exactly
what to do.
Yep. And we try to be very, very, very specific with language. So I'm gonna play this card. Real simple. Flip 1 card. I'm gonna flip that card face down. It is your turn.
I'm going to play in Psychic. Yep. Draw 2 cards. Your opponent discards 2 cards, then reveals your hand.
I have this card. And you're going to see it real soon because it's the only card I have. I'm going to play this Spirit Zero. It says refresh. So, like I didn't play a card, but there's some extra conditions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards I draw. Then there's a new line that says draw 1 card and skip my check cash phase. So I didn't talk about this yet. This step after action is check cash. If you ever have more than 5 cards in your hand, you have to clear cash, discard down to 5. But this one says skip that, so I can keep these 6 cards. Isn't that nice for me? And then end is any end of turn effects. So start and end of turn effects. They're kind of rare, but they happen. What is your turn?
Okay. I am going to go with gravity. Yeah, discard 1 card. I don't want to because they're all good. But I will. And it's face up.
Face up, public gravity. You don't have gravity 0. And now I'm going to make it so you don't have gravity 5. You will flip 1 of the cards. And then I flip this. So like we're already in this sparring match, right? You do a thing and I react to it. And
so I'm going to play gravity 6. So you play the top card of your deck face down on this line.
So you're at 8, which is scary for me because the back of every card is a 2. So any card you can play can put you in a scoring position. I will have 1 turn to react to it, but let's see. Let's see if I can do that. I think I have to do it this way. Draw 2 cards. I can play cards in any line. So what that means is I don't care about protocols. But this has a start of turn level. So it is your turn. And as you've noticed, higher value cards have lower utility. Lower value cards have higher utility. Ah, fantastic.
So I get to play the top card of my deck face down each line where I have a card.
So play it here first. Because if you play it here, you'll be covering that text. And then the rest of it won't happen. So you play one here, and you play one here, and then you're going to commit 1 here. And this says when this card would be covered. So this card is committed. Committed means that it's hovering above it. It's going here and it's going here in this orientation. First, delete this card. And the reason that exists is to close it into the possibility. We didn't want somebody to be able to go, and then I just play this, and then I move this card, and then I do it again, and then I move this, and then I do it again.
So you're killing the command.
Exactly. So you are at 10. So I have 2 options.
But I don't compile now. I can't compile.
Your turn.
Yeah, no, I can recompile something instead of getting it.
That's not going to help me.
Whatever. Like, that makes
That'll help me. We'll see. Fantastic. Okay. So at the start of my turn, I have to discard a card or flip this card. I want to keep this in play, so I'm going to discard a card, and we're going to discard this Death 2. Then I'm going to play Death 3, but I'm going to play it here because this card says I can play cards in any line. Delete 1 face down card. Now, I can't delete this one or this one or this one because they are covered. The only cards that are targetable are uncovered cards. So the only things that are a threat. I'm going to delete this one. And then that text is revealed, and it says by your opponent, which is me, place the top card of their deck face down in this line. So now you were at 8, and now I'm at 10. So it's your turn. Would you like to get into this tug of war with me? Because I have a card advantage.
I'm going to play my last card, the Psychic 2. I get to, you discard 2 cards.
Hate that.
And I rearrange your protocols.
I also hate that.
Because does that still count for 10 in that line?
Yeah, so when you rearrange protocols, you're just picking these up and putting them back down in another order, not affecting the cards. So you're choosing what I score.
So the number is not related to the realm.
No. It is a restriction on play. When you play a card face up, it has to be into that protocol's line. Other than that, cards can be wherever they want because shifting works and rearranging protocols. So you get to choose what I score. So if you're like, hey, I know he's got a bunch of death cards in his trash that are high value. He's got a 4, you got a 2. Maybe I want him to score something that isn't death. Maybe I want him to score water or like. So you get to choose basically what I'm scoring right now. You pick these up and put them down in any order that isn't this order.
I'll just do
totally reasonable. Right. So now it is my turn. Start a turn effects. I don't have any. We're not playing with control. Can I compile? I am at 10. You are at 8. I can. All of these cards go into the trash. Those cards go in the trash. and that consumes my action for the turn. I would still have to check cash and do any end of turn steps, but I don't have that. It is your turn.
I think for the purpose of this, I think we got a good kind of grasp on it. So basically, you score this point, the game would end when all 3 lanes are fully compiled, and you basically
all 3 of mine. So you would still want to. We're playing here. It's not best 2 out of 3. It's all 3.
Yeah. No, you still need those 2, and I can catch up.
And you're very close.
Yes. Well, awesome. I think this game is so awesome, and like you said, it gives you a great opportunity to add more diversity, more mechanics. With, I mean, honestly, not a ton to do. Like, you do what's on the card, and you roll it out, and people can just keep playing this game over and over.
But you get to be clever. It gives people an opportunity to be clever with their play, and that's really interesting. Yeah, there's tiny. Flip 1 card. But what does that mean? Well, it means a lot when you flip a card over that says, now shift a card.
Yeah.
And then when you uncover the card that was under that card you shifted, you get to do another thing.
Yeah. And now you've got an engine going.
Exactly.
In here.
And that is organic, right? You are going to arrive at those things through play, and you will arrive at the understanding of those things through play as well. So it's not a lot of overhead for new players. It's very, very accessible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to demo this game.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be amazing for people to get their hands on this. And they can get it anywhere, right?
Absolutely. We have it here in the booth, but we're running low on stock. It's on Amazon, and it's at greaterthangames.com, and probably at your friendly local retailer for a while.
Yeah.
It seems to be doing very well, so we'll see how much we can keep it in stock.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. Have a great rest of your PAX.
Absolutely. You too.